So apparently the answer is gold and ketchup. And you're like, what was the question? It's how do you tame Donald Trump, the Twitter tweeter toddler who loves those tariffs? This is the headlines then. South Koreans give Trump gold crown necklace before feeding him, get this, beef patties with ketchup. And before you laugh, guys, if it works, it works. Trump says South Korea trade deal is virtually done. That's the formula. South Korea welcomes Trump with highest award, gold crown, and ketchup. And then you throw in a bit of military parades. And there's a bit of trolling here from Korea, which is actually pretty funny. They serve this dessert to everyone who came to APEC dinner. It is an actual orange. They named this dessert after Trump as like the peacemaker dessert. And they had a brownie with gold on it. And again, that was for him. And you got this big orange there. And that was named after Trump. It was actually pretty fascinating. And I know we're make jokes about stuff, but this is real. Part of business and knowing, trade negotiations is knowing your opponent, right? Relationships. And they know what Trump's tastes were. And essentially, they made the meal that reflected both the combination of Korean tastes and Trump's taste, reflecting New York, and then also throwing in a bit of oranges. And Trump signed this in the guest book. He's like, wow, such a beautiful opening to a great meeting. Thank you. And he signed Donald Trump. And then Korea got what they wanted. I told you guys before in the last video, we were asking for, hey, USA, are you going to help us with nuclear subs and nuclear power? And the Koreans are reporting that we got a win here. And this is also, I want to make it really clear, the goal for any of these trade negotiations is a win-win. Trump's been threatening Korea as like, hey, you got to give me $350 billion in cash up front. I'll just say this, it's not going to happen. The gist of it is with these trade negotiations, Trump was threatening tariffs at 25% if you don't give a bunch of cash. The deal, I guess, is they went down to 15%, and then we're doing investments up to $20 billion a year over the course of 10 years, which, I'll just be frank with you guys, Trump's out of office in a few years, so anything can change after that. And that, again, I want to make this really clear. This is up to or maximum. That's the phrase they've been telling us in Korea. That came out in the American news as well, up to $20 billion a year. So this is a far cry from that $350 billion, but it does allow the Americans to say, hey guys, we're bringing in all of this money. But I'm just telling you from the Korean perspective, this is up to, not necessarily we're just giving them a bunch of cash. The other issue is who controls the investments. The Koreans reporting it's going to be mutual, and we're not going to invest in stuff unless it's profitable, and we split the profits in ways that make sense. Before, Trump was like, I get 90% all of the profits, and this is essentially what's going on. So I'm just telling you guys, if it takes a little bit of gold, a little bit of ketchup, you do it. Part of which actually really interesting as well, President Lee here in Korea, I guess he had a custom gold tie made to meet Trump. It worked. Trump was actually pretty friendly during this whole thing. It was interesting. And yes, I understand if you watch the American news or other channels on YouTube, they'll talk about all the dumb things that Trump said and that he farted. And yes, Trump farts all the time. I get that. But I do want to talk about kind of a different perspective they may not necessarily get other places. This is actually really fascinating. It says Trump announces trade breakthrough with South Korea on Asia trip. And this was a quote here. We made our deal pretty much finalized. That's coming from Trump. He said that at dinner. And then from the Korean side, and it was actually in our news as well, we just weren't sure it was going to happen. You never know. And also, to be fair, Trump can tweet out any moment, change his mind. I mean, you never know this stuff. But at the moment, he's in a good mood. Korea says, prospects were not bright even last night, and there was dramatic progress on the day. You gave them a bunch of food, and this is kind of what the food looks like for those of you who are interested in food. And they even got Trump to drink a little bit, and Trump's not really a drinker. So that was actually reported in our news, and it was interesting because they're saying they gave a toast, go for peace, and this was also, I talked to guys in the last video, we got the necklace and that crown thing. And get this is not really reported much in the American news, but they met in the museum, and before, when the Koreans went to the USA, Trump gave the Korean delegation a whole bunch of Trump memorabilia for reals. They went to like the Trump gift store at the White House, and everyone got like hats and stuff like that. And then the Koreans ended up putting it in a museum, basically like, hey, this is Trump. And then when Trump comes to meet the Korea in Korea, then they set up the exhibit and like, hey, look, we kept all your stuff. It's all right there. And they took a picture in front of it, and Trump's in a good mood. You do what you got to do. and I know you guys think it's all stupid, and I agree. It's all stupid. Trust me, people in Korea know it's stupid as well. Of course we know it's stupid. Of course. But if that's what it takes to negotiate with the guy, if you have to give him ketchup and you got to give him hamburger, and if you can get the deal that you want, you give him the hamburger and the ketchup. I don't think it's a big deal. Because honestly, guys, we're talking about real money here. And one of the things that is a big deal is, say, the nuclear submarine thing. I think Australia is talking about this stuff, and Canada as well. And I don't follow everything in Australia or Canada, but if you guys are there, you can let me know what's going on with the nukes and negotiations with the USA. But a lot of this has to do with, say, military spend. So the USA basically wants Europe, Korea, Japan to spend more on the military. I'll just tell you this: President Lee here in Korea was just like, we already spend quite a bit. I think the numbers they gave was like fifth biggest. We're 1.4 times GDP, or 1.4 times bigger than North Korea. So it's not like we're not outspending them. In fact, we are. and then they're talking about being essentially more independent from the USA. But what this boils down to, though, is who's going to manufacture, defense, because Hegseth is there to try to sell American weapons, but I'm just telling you guys, here in Korea, we can make our own stuff. And I think a lot of things is going to be converting to drones anyway, or, whatever. And Korea's cutting technology and a lot of these kind of things. And also what you guys don't get, I know that the American news is going to focus on, Trump, and Trump's going to meet President Xi, which we'll do a video on that. That's from China. But Korea hosting APEC, it's not just the USA. There are so many countries coming here, so many CEOs, and it is a fantastic, what's the right word to say it? Like, I don't know if it's coming out party. That's not really the right word to say it. We'll just say fantastic way to do business. I'll just say that. We're open for business here in Korea. Tourism is going up. Business is going up. And I literally see it every day. I live here in Busan, and I'm just telling you, I see the construction. I see the tourism dollars. Like you see it. And it's very, very different than what's going on in USA. And trust me, guys, I really know we cover all the stuff in USA all the time. It feels like everything's melting down. But things are doing okay over here. I'm sure it's pretty similar in maybe Canada or Australia, where, essentially, and probably UK as well, where if people aren't going to do business with the USA, they're going to go elsewhere. So this was, anyway, I know I'm just talking about this, but I just think the Koreans did really, really well. This was actually the menu. They put it out there, and they're talking about how they're mixing both American flavors and US flavors. They made this whole thing for Trump. And the other thing I thought was pretty funny, during the dinner, if you want to watch the whole video, you can. I think that's Carney sitting across the table from Trump. And then the funny thing is, then Trump actually tweeted out, for those that are asking, we didn't come to South Korea to see Canada. I don't know. That was a bit of trolling there, but yeah, Carney was there, and I think they exchanged pleasantries, but that's obviously a sore subject. Here in Korea, though, they were having lots of greetings. The First Lady was meeting, you can see this, Canadian Prime Minister's wife, so that should be Carney's wife, this is Diana Fox Carney. And this is a big part of business, They were reporting here, Amazon's going to be investing in Korea. A bunch of other companies are. I can give you some of the names of this stuff. Here they say $9 billion, but there's a lot of business to be had. The Korean businesses are trying to, obviously make business with multiple countries, not just USA. And I always emphasize that, guys. It's a big world out there. So I guess Renault, Amcar Technology, Corning, Air Liquide, Siemens, Umicore. These are just some of the ones that they're talking about. And they were signing multiple, you want to call these frameworks. Because essentially what it is like, okay, we're going to agree to talk about said stuff in the future, and this is the category of the things. Some of the stuff that Koreans held firm to was like, we're not going to change our food regulations. We're not going to take your beef if, you can't push that crap on us. And there was actually multiple categories of things that there's going to be no tariffs. And also the big negotiation was like, hey, if you're going to, do business with, say, Samsung or Hynix, another company, or SK, you have to have the same tariffs as other countries, be it Japan or Taiwan, with chips and various things. This is one of the things that they were signing here, a tech prosperity deal. And they're just promoting tourism here like crazy, and business. I'm so impressed. And I know you want to hear, all the stupid stuff that Trump did. And I talked about it in the last video, but I'm just telling you guys, this is part of business. And it's something that I just want to put it this way. So let's say you're in LA, because I used to live in LA, and the Olympics is there, right? Or you're hosting FIFA. And let's pretend Trump's not president, because, you know, there are other people out there in the world. And just imagine if you had someone that's like really welcoming to, you know, other countries. I know Trump's just the opposite. I totally get that. I'm just saying what you want is good leadership, not just complain about Trump, but what does good leadership look like? Just imagine you had this, you know, leader in place that's like welcoming, and then suddenly the whole world wants to come to FIFA and the whole world wants to come to the Olympics, and they start spending money at your gift shops. Like this was our news today. Foreign visitors surpass 1 million at Korean duty-free shops. Like for us, that's really good business. It's money. And they changed the visa policy on Chinese tourists. And so now we're encouraging a bunch of investment and money and tourism dollars. We just recently had a tourism conference here, 2025 APEC International Tourism Conference, and I've been seeing the commercials on the thing. They promote it really, really well. And I'll just tell you this: if you guys haven't seen where we live, and you can see our vlog channel, that's Yeji. You guys know my wife. But the car right behind her, and this is Busan where we live. The car right behind her is always full of people, and it's like a little capsule car is what they call it, and it's just. It's really good business. I'm telling you, tourism is real money. These are the places that we go, and you can't see it in this picture because, you know, we don't just take picture of tourists, but there's a lot of foreigners here these days, and it's very, very noticeable. And also was really well done at the APEC. And again, I know Trump is the headline, but I just want to tell you there are other things going on. Is BTS gave the one of the guys from BTS gave like the opening welcoming speech. He did it in English, and basically he's just saying like, hey, we're open for business. Culture is you know, from all around the world, and in Korea we're all about combining cultures, and I'll tell you, the stuff he says is pretty cool. So for example, he says K-pop success came from respecting diversity and embracing the world cultures, but still holding on to Korea's unique identity. We take Korea's unique aesthetics, notions, and production system, but we don't turn away elements of Western music like hip-hop, R&B, or EDM. Just like bibimbap, which is Korean food, these parts are keep their unique identities, but mixed together to make something new and fresh and delightful. And you know, for young people, I'm telling you guys, young people know what BTS is. Young people know what K-pop Demon Hunter is. I know older people who watch the channel, they're like, I don't know what this stuff is, but ask your grandkids, they will know. And if you just want to see what it looks like business and power. It's been like this for a while now, shifts to Asia. And I know there are a lot of Americans, you know, say the MAGA people and the Trumpers, who are sad that USA isn't necessarily number one at everything anymore. But this is what the world is. It's competitive, and you always need to work hard. And that's why I show you guys this stuff is when, you know, Korea prepares for these kind of APEC things. I told you guys they're going to be prepared, and they can even do a bit of trolling by giving everyone an orange dessert, or, you know, you give Trump what he wants is the beef patties and you know, ketchup, and then you get your trade deal. Also there, the Naver CEO was talking. Samsung was here, POSCO, Hyundai, all the big CEOs, Hanwha, which is a big shipbuilding. And it's just all about business and opening up Korea for the world. And I just think it's absolutely fantastic. So that's what's going on. It's a big win for Korea. Trump didn't get the $350 billion in cash up front that he wanted, but he did get the golden crown and the ketchup. So I would like to hear you guys' thoughts on this. I do appreciate your time, and I'll catch you on the next video.